Now that the iPhone 16e is out, our focus for the next major iPhone announcement can shift to the iPhone 17. Though Apple's annual autumn iPhone debut may be months away, the constant flow of speculations informing us what to anticipate from this year's devices has us not stopped. Those speculations, however, forecast significant iPhone upgrades this autumn. Apple's regular iPhone 17 is set to get some long-awaited changes. We anticipate camera enhancements for the Pro versions. On the other hand, the autumn might add a totally new iPhone to the mix, a slimmer model replacing the plus-sized iPhone Apple has provided the last 3 years. Based on a few early speculations regarding this year's forthcoming phones, this is what we know so far about the iPhone 17. iPhones make it really simple to predict the release date. Every numbered iPhone has been unveiled in September for more than 10 years, save the iPhone 12. In other words, it's quite probable the iPhone 17 will be introduced this September, with a release within the first 2 weeks of the month. The iPhone 16 undoubtedly matched that pattern, with Apple having an event on September 9, 2016. The 4 new models went on sale September 20. The pricing of the iPhone 17 is considerably tougher to lock down this far in ahead. We now know that Apple didn't boost pricing on this year's iPhone models, with the iPhone 16 beginning at $799 and the iPhone 16 Pro Max topping the range at $1,199. Unfortunately, the first price raise in 8 years might be coming this year, according to one expert. There's rumors of an iPhone 17 Air replacing the Plus model, which trusted leaker Ice Universe says to be arriving this year with the other models. We'll examine it in further detail below, but opinion on pricing is varied, with some speculating it might cost more than the $1,199 Pro Max versions, while other sources point to the iPhone 16 plus $899 price as a benchmark. The iPhone 17 Air, formerly expected to be dubbed the iPhone 17 Slim, would purportedly give iPhone enthusiasts a new, slimmer version of Apple's smartphone. Bloomberg's well-connected writer Mark Gurman thinks this is part of a strategy to develop a new class of Apple devices that should be the thinnest and lightest products in the whole tech industry. The iPhone 17 Air will supposedly have a 6.6-inch or 6.7-inch display and a full-length camera bar with a single lens. That screen is anticipated to be OLED with a resolution of 1290 by 2796, somewhat smaller than the iPhone 17 Pro Max is projected to be. The phone may possibly have a makeover similar to how the iPhone X shook up the iPhone series when it deleted the home button and introduced the notch in 2018. That said, speculations of it being aluminum rather than titanium are a little alarming given the pricing discussion being batted around. Analyst Ming-Chi Kuo predicts that the iPhone 17 Air will emphasize being thin above all else, to the extent that the phone may just have a single primary camera lens. The newest speculations say that the phone might be as small as 5.5mm thick, while the camera hump may bring the top half of the phone up to 9.5mm. Apple revealed a new C1 5G modem with the iPhone 16e, and it will allegedly come to the iPhone 17 Air, but no other iPhone 17 variants. But all iPhone 17s should have new Wi-Fi 7 modems, also built by Apple. To create room for the iPhone 17 Slim, researcher Jeff Poo says there will be no iPhone 17 Plus. When the iPhone 17 Air launches, it will have some company. Samsung has revealed an ultra-slim phone of its own with an S25 Edge teaser. That phone might come as soon as April, according to the latest reports. Beyond the Air, the iPhone 17 may not alter all that much in terms of its overall design. According to analyst Jeff Poo, the iPhone 17 will remain be a 6.1-inch smartphone, with no ambitions to expand an additional 0.2 inches like this year's Pro versions. Poo claims Dynamic Island would decrease on the iPhone 17 Pro, while a different rumor indicates the Dynamic Island will retain the same size on all iPhones. Although noted leaker Digital Chat Station claims that a new metalens for Face ID might result in a smaller Dynamic Island for the iPhone 17 Pro Max particularly. Some leakers think Apple will modify up the rear design by stretching the camera block laterally, with supposed mock-ups to back this up. But some leakers say that even if Apple is shaking things up for this generation, it's not likely to look like this. There's also news out of China of iPhone suppliers adopting a new design that offers more smooth transitions between materials like glass and aluminum on the phones. We'll have to wait for additional renderings to surface to see what influence this has on the iPhone 17's design. The basic iPhone 17 might be in line for one of the larger enhancements, a 120Hz ProMotion display for better performance, and up to 120 games. The assertion, backed up by a late December 2024 supply chain report, would imply the iPhone 17 would finally have a refresh rate on pace with Apple's Pro versions and almost each other flagship device. The projected LTPO LED screens will be able to drop to 1 Hz with the always-on display, much as the Pro versions. The screen itself may be a little more durable. According to the leaker Instant Digital on Weibo, the iPhone 17's panel will be made of super hard AR layer to make it more scratch-resistant than you think. Perhaps the days of requiring a screen protector will soon be history. One thing that isn't certain is if the Pro versions will incorporate titanium in their frames again. While it seems reasonable that Apple would maintain the expensive metal, other speculations indicate that Apple would be substituting in aluminum, a far cheaper and considerably less robust material. Others have contested this, however. It's commonly speculated that Apple plans to incorporate solid-state buttons in future iPhones, and that development is presumably ongoing behind the scenes. However, it's a feature that's unlikely to be on board any iPhone 17 model. Apple's A-series CPUs are no slouch, giving some of the greatest smartphone performance available. The A18 Pro silicon powering the iPhone 16 Pro models has shown to be a very strong performer. And yet, the A19 chipset you'd anticipate that Apple would employ in the iPhone 17 series might be a significant jump ahead. It was first stated that the new chips may be produced to the 2nm technology, suggesting a larger transistor density for improved performance and efficiency. However, further sources have disputed this, maintaining that 2nm processors won't be available until the introduction of the iPhone 18. That's so the A19 chips may still benefit from TSMC 3rd generation 3nm technology. This is supposed to provide improved transistor density compared to the 2nd gen method used to create the A18 chips. This would enhance performance and energy efficiency, albeit not to the same amount that a decrease below 2nm would. There's some additional positive news on the power front. A report suggests every iPhone 17 model will include vapor chamber technology, meant to protect the new devices from overheating. The new configuration would replace the normal heat sinks used by existing iPhones and solve difficulties that earlier models have had with growing too hot and suffering from performance drops as a consequence. Greater efficiency equals reduced power drain, which implies improved battery life. And on that topic, Apple is reported to be making a shift with its iPhone 17 series, producing its own batteries for the first time. The idea is apparently to give significantly improved performance compared to the existing one, which sounds incredibly promising. Analyst Jeff Pu has predicted the iPhone 17 might come with 8 GB RAM. However, in a note to investors, Pu suggested the iPhone 17 Pro models might arrive with 12 GB RAM, a considerable jump from the 8 GB featured in the current versions, and presumably an essential bump given Apple's drive into on-device artificial intelligence. Ming-Chi Kuo also expects the higher-end iPhones would contain 12 GB of RAM. Noted leaker Majin Buu has suggested the whole iPhone 17 might employ a new adhesive to lock the batteries in place, making them easy to change without risking harm to their devices. Apple previously employed this similar innovation on the iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Plus, but it looks poised to push it out to all 4 phones in the iPhone 17 series. While the iPhone 17 Pro Max model is expected to sport 3 48-megapixel cameras, nothing has yet been reported regarding the ordinary iPhone 17's rear camera array. That may be because there's no change from the iPhone 16's 48-megapixel main lens and 12-megapixel ultrawide, or nothing has yet surfaced. One item that has surfaced is the word for an improvement to the front-facing selfie camera. The analyst Ming-Chi Kuo is forecasting a 24-megapixel selfie camera for the iPhone 17, a major advance over the 12-megapixel true depth cam that's been available since the iPhone 11 Pro Max. It's also suggested that we may see a camera lens with a customizable aperture for the first time on an iPhone. Given how the iPhone 16 Pro models only got an improvement to their ultra-wide sensors, these enhancements to both telephoto and selfie cameras might be enough to keep the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max in competition for some of the finest photography phones available. One possible caveat to that 48 megapixels telephoto lens rumor, however, it might come at the price of the iPhone 17 Pro's zoom capabilities. A rumor suggests that Apple update to a 48 megapixel sensor is in the works for both the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max, but that the new lens would only offer a 3.5x optical zoom and not the 5x zoom available on the existing versions. The iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max might potentially drop the rounded square camera array that Apple's employed since the iPhone 11 Pro, adopting a horizontal camera array akin to the Pixel 9 Pro, according to various leakers. The iPhone 17 Air, on the other hand, may only feature 2 lenses at most, with some sources stating it may be a single-camera phone in order to preserve space. You wonder how people would accept it, considering the premium they put on cameras when purchasing a phone. It's a very safe bet that the iPhone 17 models will release around the same time as iOS 19, the next generation of Apple's iPhone software. We anticipate a glimpse of iOS 19 during June's Worldwide Developers Conference. Right now, it appears the greatest emphasis will be on a significant interface makeover. Apparently, Apple is seeking to make the software that drives its phones, laptops, and tablets more cohesive, so that might include modifications to things like icons, menus, applications, windows, and system buttons. One change we've heard early on is a transition to circular icons, as well as more simplified menus on applications. You'd anticipate Apple Intelligence to be a key feature of iOS 19, as Apple continues to build out its array of AI-powered capabilities. However, one rumor indicates there may not be any new AI capabilities in iOS 19, as Apple concentrates on spreading Apple Intelligence to additional applications. Apple may also be focused on the promised enhancements to Sir that would give a better digital assistant to iPhone customers. Those changes were scheduled to be a part of the iOS 18 release, but Apple has now postponed their availability. All in all, it seems like the iPhone 17 will be a major boost, particularly if the 120Hz promotion display and performance advancements come to pass. The iPhone 16 phones announced last September are clearly respectable updates, if not revolutionary ones, with Apple placing much of the focus on new AI capabilities coming to the phone rather than big hardware enhancements. It seems like the iPhone 17 range might be a departure from that, should it include an iPhone 17 Air to the mix. So that is all for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more tech news and updates. Thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.